Good afternoon, representatives of the Board of Governors, Council of Trustees, honored guests, class of 2014, parents, relatives, and friends. Welcome to Westchester University's 141st commencement ceremony. I am now very pleased to introduce Michelle Smith, class of 2014, graduating from the College of Visual and Performing Arts, who will lead us in singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Please stand and join in singing the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light that so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, through so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? O'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave.
Very well done, Michelle. Thank you. Welcome, honored guests, families, faculty and staff, alumni, friends, and of course, members of the Westchester University class of 2014. Now, graduates, I don't know how many commencement ceremonies you may have attended over the years. Probably your high school graduation, perhaps a college graduation of a relative or a friend. But even if you've never before attended a commencement, I could bet you probably get my remarks for me today. You already know how they're supposed to go. You are the future. Make the most of the wonderful opportunities that lie ahead. You have received a great education here at Westchester University. And from this moment on, success can be yours. Now, if you'd like, I could elaborate on each of those themes, enhancing them with motivational moments from my own experiences and probably adding some very good cautionary tales as well. But what I'd rather do is to take these sage comments and tell you the rest of the story. We can take the points one by one. First, consider the notion that the future is what matters most. Yes, the future is enormously important, but also important is what is happening at this very moment. Right now, tomorrow, and next week are as valuable as the fabled time in the future when everything you could possibly desire will somehow fall into place for you. Now, if the best of living has to wait for that morning when you wake up and say, here it is, finally, the life I've always wanted, you may instead wake up one day when you're very old and say, there it went, the good life I had, and I didn't recognize it. And so, welcome all of life, from youth to old age, with appreciation and gratitude. Now I'm supposed to tell you to make the most of all the wonderful opportunities that lie ahead. But I'm simply not crazy about that whole concept. I just don't believe that life is for grabbing everything you can on the way through. Instead, I want to urge you to maximize opportunities, and rather than grabbing those things through life as they present themselves, to ask you to cultivate a sense of purpose to guide you. I would rather ask you to think about what you bring to this world that no one else can bring. Not necessarily something that would make you famous or important, but something that you alone can offer. Rather than telling you to seize opportunities, I would ask you to discover your unique gifts and talents. In the end, cultivating these are more important and more meaningful than simply cultivating your bank account or your resume. Now, required point 3 is one that I can enthusiastically endorse. You have had a great education here at Westchester University. In fact, the knowledge and skills that you've learned in this academic community can take you anywhere in life. But the truth is that whether you go on to additional formal schooling or not, your education has only begun. Gandhi told us to live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were going to live forever. And so every single day of your life, find a way to learn something new that is interesting and valuable to you. Now finally, I do indeed wish you a world of success, but I'd also like you to think a little bit about what success should mean. Is success only measured in money, power, and prestige? Tennis great Arthur Ashe said, "From what we get, we make a living. What we give, however, makes a life." I would advise you to aim to be useful rather than successful, although they're not mutually exclusive. Is it not, after all, by making a difference, great or small, that we find the satisfaction and meaning that we have been seeking all along? So, members of the Westchester University class of 2014, I leave each of you with best wishes for a bright future, a future filled with appreciation for every moment, an abiding sense of purpose, an unquenchable desire to learn, and an unmatchable satisfaction of improving the lives of others. Now, before I close, on behalf of the university, I would like to thank the many people who have contributed to the success of our commencement program. My appreciation to public safety, to our students and alumni volunteers, and to all of the faculty, staff, and students who have taken part in planning and organizing today's ceremony. Now, once again, best wishes, everyone, for today, tomorrow, and for all of the years ahead. I would now like to introduce the member of the Council of Trustees who is with us today, Mr. Thomas Filippo, Chair, Council of Trustees. I would also like to ask all of the members of the platform party to please stand and be recognized for their service to the university and to all of our students. Please. At this point, I'd like to recognize a group that's had a great deal to do with you being here today, the faculty of Westchester University. I know all of you probably have had faculty that you enjoyed more than others, and I'm sure you can easily pick out your favorite. However, as you take this next step in your life and face new challenges, you may find that those faculty who pushed you to the limit made you grow and think and see different points of view are the faculty members you may very well remember the most. Will all of the faculty of the university who are present today please stand and be recognized for your good work? You deserve a big round of applause. We are especially delighted to recognize the faculty members who have retired from active teaching at Westchester University. We're honored that you've chosen to join us today and want you to know that you're remembered fondly. Your achievements have left their mark on the university and have created the standard for others who have followed you. Will all of the retired faculty of the university who are here today please stand and be recognized? Another group I want to recognize who have played an important role in making today possible is the staff and the administrators of the university. Will all staff and administrators of Westchester University who are here today please stand and be recognized? Now, it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Tom Filippo, Chair of the Council of Trustees, to the podium, who will bring greetings on behalf of the Council of Trustees.
On behalf of the Westchester University Council of Trustees, I bring the warmest congratulations to you, the members of the class of 2014. I hope that in the weeks following commencement, you will take time to reflect on your Westchester University experience. Think back over the years and all that you've learned, and remember the faculty, staff, and friends who've added so much to your life. And recall, too, the wonderful strength of purpose you have shown in reaching your goal and the encouragement and support of your family. In reliving the memories and gifts of your Westchester semesters, you will be impressed more than ever by your life-changing progress and growth. With your hard work and talent and the excellence of Westchester faculty, staff, and programs, you have created an exceptionally strong foundation for your future. With solid commitment to your vision and values, you have made the most of the great opportunities to be found here at Westchester University. As the Westchester University graduates, you have also earned the knowledge and know-how to make a difference for others far and wide. So, I look forward to following your activities in the future. Hope to see you on campus. And again, congratulations from the Council of Trustees, Class 2014. Thank you.
Emeritus designation is given to retired faculty in recognition for their outstanding service to the university, as well as significant contributions to their professional fields. With this designation, Westchester University acknowledges their years of dedicated service and commitment to the campus community. I'm now pleased to honor our newly designated emeritus faculty. As I call your name, please come forward to receive your award from President Weisenstein and remain standing on the stage to be recognized with your colleagues. Dr. Philip Duncan, Department of Psychology. Dr. David Sprinkle, Department of Applied Music. Dr. Lawrence Davison, Department of History. Congratulations and thank you for your years of dedicated service to Westchester University. Please be seated. Council of Trustees Achievement Award for Teaching is given today to Eleanor Brown, Professor of Psychology. Dr. Brown, please come forward to receive this award.
Dr. Brown, your contributions to the field of psychology transcend traditional learning environments as you creatively merge scholarship and teaching with civic engagement, inspiring students to become not only lifelong learners, but also committed, involved citizens. Your work challenges students to excel while simultaneously examining their own awareness of the profound effects of poverty and racism. You have instructions with on-site involvement, creativity, landscape that is rare in higher education, tirelessly pushing students to reach new heights of academic and personal achievement. Your remarkable flair for current innovation is perhaps best embodied by your creation of a course, Field Experience of Psychology, Diverse Communities, a landmark course that challenges students to examine bias in helping professors, specifically in the field of psychology. Integrally, intelligently challenging the theory course's content with vigorous hands-on experiences, your pioneering course is indeed a model for us to look at and admire. The effect for students and the community is both deeply left and enduring. Your scholarships have been supported by more than 20 grants, providing witness to the foundation of vigorous regular teaching and examination that underpins the vision and teaching dedication so frequently cited by your colleagues. Your written contributions to the field, too, are significantly. Your numerous scholarly works on a myriad of topics faced by children and educators have been published by leading journalists around the world. For your significant contributions to the psychology professor, author, mentor, and scholar, Westchester University is proud to present the 2014 Council of Trustees Achievement Award for Teaching. Congratulations.
The Presidential Medallion for Service is being awarded this year to Mrs. Carmen Evans Culp for outstanding leadership and exceptional service. Mrs. Culp, please come forward to receive this award. Westchester University holds Carmen Culp in the highest esteem. This alumna, distinguished educator, author, exemplifies commitment to her alma mater and a spirit of service that has greatly enriched the lives of students and educators while significantly furthering the Westchester University Alumni Association. A graduate of Westchester State Teachers College, Carmen Culp earned her bachelor's and master's degrees in 1952 and 1964, respectively, and has spent 6 decades of her life promoting excellence in music at all levels of education in Pennsylvania, teaching thousands of students to appreciate the joys of music. Ascending quickly to leadership roles following her graduation, Carmen Culp served as president of the Tredyffrin Easttown Education Association from 1959 to 1961. In 1964, she became president of the Chester County Music Educators and served in that capacity for 2 years. Elected the first woman president of the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association in 1981, she successfully altered the association's organizational structure to establish a statewide representative network for general music and to equalize voting representation on the Executive Council with the inclusion of general music. In gratitude for her service, the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association awarded Coleman Culp that organization's 2 highest honors, the Citation of Excellence in Teaching, and the Distinguished Service Award. In 2011, the organization recognized her prolific career dedicated to inspiring the lives of students and audiences by awarding her a place in the organization's Hall of Fame. In addition to her numerous music education leadership roles, Carmen Culp has written extensively. She is a senior author of both the Music Connection books and the World of Music books, and co-authored 2 additional titles. She also served as project advisor for the film Why is Music Music? Carmen Culp's service to Westchester University and the University Alumni Association spans decades. In addition to serving as Chester County Chapter President, she was the Alumni Association's Board of Directors President from 2000 to 2002, and was elected to the status of Director Emeritus. She was awarded the association's 2004 Service Award in recognition of her unflagging contributions to the association. The university recognized Carmen Culp's service in awarding her the 1998 Distinguished Alumni Award and the 2002 President's Award for Outstanding Donor Leadership and Service. Carmen Culp, in recognition of your dedicated service to this university, your outstanding professional achievements, and your commitment to helping students achieve their dreams, Westchester University is honored to award you the President's Medallion for Service.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker. Samuel C. Thompson, Jr. is professor of law and director of the Center for the Study of Mergers and Acquisitions at the Penn State School of Law. Professor Thompson is a 1965 graduate of Westchester University and is recognized internationally as one of the foremost authorities on mergers and acquisitions. Prior to joining the faculty of Penn State, Dr. Thompson was professor of law at the UCLA School of Law, director of the UCLA Law Center for the Study of Mergers and Acquisitions, and dean of the University of Miami School of Law. In addition to his distinguished teaching career, he lectures worldwide on topics ranging from international taxation to economic growth policy. Among his other professional accomplishments, Professor Thompson served in the United States Marine Corps, raising to captain and earning the Navy Commendation Medal for service in Vietnam. He was also the partner in charge of the tax division of Sheriff Hardin and Waite law firm in Chicago, served as the U.S. Treasury's tax policy office, and worked as an advisor to the European Union Antitrust Merger Task Force and the South African Ministry of Finance. Professor Thompson is the author of 16 books and more than 75 articles on mergers and acquisitions, taxation, and antitrust law. In addition to his WCU degree, he holds a law degree from Penn, a master's in law and taxation from New York University, and a master's degree in business and applied economics from Penn. He has also served his alma mater as a trustee of the WCU Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Professor Sam Thompson as our commencement speaker.
I'm going to take this hat off. Thank you, Mr. President. Just as you, our graduates, say thanks to your family and friends who are with you today, I just want to say thanks to my family and friends who are with me also. My wife, my son, my sister, several cousins, and 2 Westchester classmates who remain lifelong friends and who I will ask to stand. Oris Stewart, who's sitting way back there. Oris, please stand. Oris is a 1966 graduate of this law school, of this university. He was a longtime teacher in the Philadelphia school system, and most importantly, he's been my friend since the day we met. I also want to ask my former teammate on the football field here at Westchester and roommate, Jim Holt, to stand. Jim graduated here in '65 when I graduated. He went on to be a teacher in Florida, decided to go into the Secret Service, worked protecting Richard Nixon, and I don't know about any other presidents, but I know Richard Nixon. If any of you have an interest in going into the Secret Service, grab Jim after this ceremony. I also want to say thanks to my wife and to my son for the comments they gave me on my presentation yesterday. We were in the car and I said, hey, do you guys want to listen to it? They said, yeah. So I read it. And at the end, my son said, Dad, you got to take that football stuff out of the back part of the speech and move it to the front part of the speech. So that's what I did, and I want to thank him especially for that suggestion. Now, my family has had a long connection with Westchester. The first person in my family to graduate here did so in the early 1930s. She was my cousin, and her name was Elizabeth Walls of Parksburg, Pennsylvania. Her son, Marine General George Walls, graduated here a year before I graduated. The most recent family member to graduate here is my cousin, Joel Thompson, who graduated last May, is now a grad student here, and is here with us today. Joel, would you stand? Now, today I want to talk with you about my 50 and your 50. My 50 years of post-Westchester life began here 50 years ago in December 1964 when I completed my studies here. Your 50 years of post-Westchester life begins today. Now, I want to make sure that you know that I expect to be around for a lot of your 50 years. I'm not about to give up at this point. In these remarks, I will first discuss some professional skills I learned on the football field here at Westchester that were of help to me during my 50 years and may be of help to you during your 50. I will then focus on some societal and political challenges that occurred during my 50 and speculate about such changes that may occur during your 50. As an aid in understanding these issues, I will refer occasionally to several commencement speeches given by several of the U.S. presidents who served during my 50. My first exposure to this university came in September of 1961 when I traveled here with my Millersville State College football team to play Westchester. I was struck by the superior execution by the Westchester team. I was also struck by the final score, 56 for Westchester and 6 for Millersville. After the game, I told a friend, I'm not putting up with this for the next 3 years. I'm transferring to Westchester. And I finished the season and the semester at Millersville, and in January '62, I transferred to this institution. Now, after sitting out my sophomore year, as the rules required, I joined the football team my junior year. I was not a great football player, but because of the efforts of Coach Walter Beakley, I became the best defensive back it was possible for me to become. This was the first time in my life I had done something as well as it was possible for me to do it. And I will forever be thankful to Coach Beakley for that. About 10 years after graduating from Westchester, I began reflecting on the impact Westchester football was having on me professionally. And I realized that I had gained certain professional skills from the Westchester football field. I refer to these skills as the 7 P's of professionalism I learned from Westchester football. I am confident that these professional skills are important for all professions, whether it be music or engineering or teaching, whatever they are. The 7 concepts, which all begin with the letter P, are pride, passion, principles, precision, practice, preparation, and position on the field. I know you're saying, what in the heck does position on the field have to do with those other things? Now let me quickly elaborate. There was great pride in Westchester football, and both coaches and players carried themselves with great dignity. I have found that those who excel as professionals take pride in what they do. Passion. There was also a passion for football at Westchester. Even though there were no scholarships and players gave their all to the game, while at the same time competing their degrees on time. It was this passion that made Westchester football special. And it is a passion for one's profession that is needed to get one to the very top of a profession. Westchester football focused on the first principles, that is principles, the fundamentals of football, blocking and tackling. There was no reliance on gimmicks. Every profession has its first principles, which must be mastered. Precision. When I transferred to Westchester, I thought the emphasis would be on brute force. That's what I experienced in that 56-6 trumping. But I quickly learned that Westchester football was based on precision, the precise execution of the first principles of football. I have learned that a true professional must always focus on the precise execution of the principles of his or her profession. Practice. The key to precise execution of the principles of football at Westchester was practice and practice and practice. I distinctly remember that on the last day of football practice in November of 1964, before the last game of the season, we went back to the same drills we practiced on the first day of practice in August of '64. Practice is important in every profession. Without practice, skills will atrophy and you will come up short on your profession's game day. Preparation was important in Westchester football. It was an adjunct to practice. For example, every Sunday night during the season, the team would meet to review our performance in the preceding game and to prepare for the upcoming game. In this meeting with defensive back coach Beakley, he would make modifications to our man and zone pass coverages and also review. And I want to emphasize that he would always review the first principles of those coverages. We were in class from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and his teaching was as excellent as any I have experienced. I have found that continuous preparation, for example, keeping up with new developments, is key to success as a professional. Finally, we come to position on the field. With Westchester football taught me that even in the presence of the first 6 P's of professionalism, it is still necessary to know the position of the ball on the field. I learned this the hard way, as Jimmy well knows. We were playing Bloomsburg, and they had the ball on our 35-yard line, and it was 4th down. The Bloomsburg quarterback threw the ball long to the man I was covering at the goal line. I intercepted the ball, and I immediately got tackled, thereby giving us the ball, but with 99 yards to go. I was ecstatic about the interception until I reached the sidelines and encountered Coach Bonder. Always a colorful character, he chewed me out and then said, "If you had knocked the ball down, we would have had the ball 35 yards up the field." Needless to say, I was crestfallen. I had followed Coach Beakley's general principles for defensive backs. That is, always intercept the ball at the highest point and never just tip it because someone on the other team might catch it. What I did not realize is that in certain unique cases, there are exceptions to first principles. And this was one of those situations in which it was appropriate to apply an exception to the rule and knock the ball smartly to the ground. I did not think of doing this because I was not paying attention to the down and the position of the ball on the field. Now, it has become clear to me that a professional must always be on the lookout for those unique situations that call for unique solutions. In other words, professionals must always be aware of the position of the ball on their profession's playing field. Now, turning to the professional side of your 50, I suggest that remembering these 7 P's could be real nifty. For if pride if pride in your profession is not there, you should seek it elsewhere. If you want to go to your profession's top, passion for your work cannot stop. Keep first principles clearly in mind as you approach your profession's starting line. As you go about the work of your life, do so with the precision a heart surgeon wields with her knife. On many days, practice won't be fun, but it's the only way to reach and keep your day in the sun. As you prepare for the new professional challenges that certainly will come down the line, remember Coach Beakley's Sunday night classes ran till 9. And to avoid Sam Thompson's error in intercepting the ball, remember that the ball's position on your profession's field may require a unique call. Now let us turn to some social and political issues in your 50 and in my 50. Now my 50 has been a period of great social, legal, and political change in America and the world. And I wanted to first take a few minutes to highlight some of these changes. On the social front, at the beginning of my 50 in 1964, much of America was segregated along racial lines. And Alabama Governor George Wallace had made a pledge for segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. Although the University of Alabama was forcibly integrated by federal troops sent by President Kennedy in 1963, when I began my 50 in December of 64, it was inconceivable that the University of Alabama's all-white football team of 64 would become the predominantly black team led by a black quarterback it is today. Although this is football, it is an indication of how dynamic my 50 has been and how far we as a nation have progressed. On the legal front, believe it or not, At the start of my 50 in 64, my wife and I could not be married in many states of the South because of the legal prohibition against interracial marriage. Not until the Supreme Court's decision in Loving v. Virginia in 67, 3 years after the beginning of my 50, were these silly laws held unconstitutional. Also on the social front, when I entered law school in September of 64, there were just 2 women in my class. Now in virtually all law schools in this country, women make up about 50% of the class. This is not just true in law, it is true in virtually every profession. Prior to the 1990s, there had never been a woman Secretary of State. Since then, we have had 3. Although gender discrimination has not been eliminated, certainly there has been significant progress on this front during my 50. On the political front, at the beginning of my 50, it was inconceivable that a person of Hispanic descent would serve as a senator, governor, or Supreme Court justice. Now, both a senator from Florida and a senator from Texas are of Cuban descent. The female governor of New Mexico is of Mexican descent. And the Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor, is of Puerto Rican descent. At the beginning of my 50, it was even more inconceivable that a person of East Indian descent, from India, would hold high political office. Yet both the governors of Louisiana and of South Carolina are of Indian descent. Only in America. Also on the political front, at the beginning of my 50, it was commonly thought that it would be several lifetimes, if ever, before a black became president of the United States. It is interesting to note, however, that in an interview with the BBC in 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King, in responding to the question of whether he thought there would ever be a black president, explained that notwithstanding the challenges black face, he was, quote, optimistic about the future, close quote, and that he could imagine that the U.S. could elect a black president in 25 years, that is, by 1990. Dr. King's prediction came to fruition in 44 years, not the 25 years he had projected. If he had lived just until 80, he would have witnessed the inauguration of the first black president. Finally, on the international political front, during the last part of my 50, we have seen the growth of terrorists, including Al-Qaeda and ISIS. However, I am confident that just as we led the world in defeating Germany and Japan in World War II, and the USSR in the Cold War, we can and we will prevail against these terrorists. However, it is important to remember that this is not just a military battle, for as President Carter said in a commencement speech at Notre Dame in May of 1977, and I quote, "More than 100 years ago, Abraham Lincoln said that our nation could not exist half slave and half free." And he went on to say, that is, Carter went on to say, "We know a peaceful world cannot long exist 1/3 rich and 2/3 hungry." So this short list of changes shows just how dynamic my 50 has been and is an indication of the dynamicism that is likely to occur during your 50, which I turn to now. Now, America will do just fine, in my judgment, during your 50 in dealing with the issues that you will encounter. But there is one legacy issue from my 50 that we will be particularly challenged with during your 50. And this is the challenge of dealing with poverty, economic inequality, and the underclass in America. As an indication of the intractability of this legacy issue, it is instructive to consider the words of President Johnson in a commencement address in 1964, the year my 50 began, at the University of Michigan. There he said, In our time, that is, during my 50, we have the opportunity to move not only towards the rich society and the powerful society, but upwards to the great society. He went on to say, the great society demands an end to poverty and racial injustice, to which we are totally committed in our time. Thus, there were two interrelated prongs of President Johnson's great society: an end to poverty and racial equality. Now, it is certainly possible to debate the means used for accomplishing these goals, but everyone of good faith would have to agree that these are laudable goals. Turning first to the goal of racial equality, as illustrated by several of the changes I discussed earlier, there is no doubt that our country has made significant progress in addressing the racial inequality and division President Johnson spoke of in '64. Indeed, in many, if not most respects, the country has followed President Johnson's proposals to Congress on March 15, 1965, where he said, listen to these words now, listen to these words. These are Johnson's words. The Negroes' cause must be our cause too, because it is not just Negroes, but really it is all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice. And after pausing, Johnson went on to say, and we shall overcome, a creed of Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement. I believe that in many respects, we have overcome. However, the recent and ongoing controversies with the deaths of unarmed black men in Florida, Missouri, New York, Ohio, and California show that we must still do more to overcome, particularly in helping young black men who are in many cases being left behind socially and economically. Let me be clear that I strongly believe that blacks and other minorities must take care to ensure that they do not make false claims of racial bias, because any such false claims undermine the moral and legal force of honest claims. A similar point was made by President Obama in a graduation speech he gave this last May at Morehouse University, a predominantly black all-male school in Atlanta. There, the president said, we've got no time for excuses, speaking to young black men. Not because the bitter legacies of slavery and segregation have vanished entirely. They haven't. Not because racism and discrimination no longer exists. That's still there. And then he went on to say, it's just that in today's hyper-connected, hyper-competitive world, with 1 billion young people from China and India and Brazil entering the global workforce, along with you, nobody is going to give you anything you haven't earned. And he went on to say, and whatever hardships you may experience because of your race, they pale in comparison to the hardships previous generations endured and overcame. This brings me to the second prong of President Johnson's Great Society speech, ending poverty. There's also been progress during my 50 in addressing the poverty issues. President Johnson addressed in his '64 Great Society commencement address. For example, the availability of Medicare for the elderly and Medicaid for the poor was adopted in '65, and health care was extended to virtually all Americans with the enactment of the Affordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, in 2010. Now, while many are highly critical of Obamacare, none other than President Nixon, a conservative Republican, in a commencement address at Oklahoma State University in 1974, 36 years before the adoption of Obamacare, had the following to say about the need for universal health care. These are his words, Nixon's words. What we have now before us is an achievement that Americans have dreamed about but have never been able to achieve before. A program in which every American will have health insurance if he needs it, where every American will have protection against catastrophic illness where he needs it. President Obama could have written those words. Now, in many cases, the problem with poverty and the underclass in our country is portrayed as a black-white divide. But this clearly is not the case, for there are nearly twice as many poor whites as poor blacks in this country. The problem is, in essence, an underclass problem. Now, although I'm not an expert on this problem, it is my belief that during your 50, the primary focus on the problem should be in finding a way to extend the opportunity for a good education to all children without respect to whether they live, for example, in a city like Philadelphia or in a suburb like Westchester. As a nation, during your 50, we should be committed to the principle that every child has a right to a quality education. And we should implement that principle by finding a way to ensure that every child, whether, for example, a student at Henderson High here in Westchester or a student at West Philadelphia High, has an equal opportunity to learn the core skills of reading, writing, and arithmetic. For a long time, I have thought that in implementing this principle, there should be uniform federal funding for the teaching of these core skills, because our system of local funding of education undermines our ability to effectively educate all of our nation's children, thereby undermining the moral and economic strength of our nation. Unlike the ability of our children to participate in sports or the band, which is a local issue, the ability of our children to read, to write, and do arithmetic is a national issue and deserves national support. Now, by finding a way to solve this educational problem during your 50, you will have fulfilled the goal President Johnson set out at the beginning of my 50 in his 1964 commencement speech, where he said, and I quote, "The great society is a place where every child can find knowledge to enrich his mind and to enlarge his talents." Thank you and good luck during your 50.
Professor Thompson, thank you for your insight, and thank you also for your challenge that our graduates today use their 50 years wisely. Now I'd like to introduce Westchester University's Wind Ensemble, conducted by Dr. Andrew Josiak. Thank you, Dr. Josiak, and members of the Wind Ensemble, especially for spending your day with us. Well done. Now I'm pleased to introduce Madeline Ball, graduating from the College of Arts and Sciences, who will present greetings on behalf of the class of 2014.
Thank you, President Weinstein, and good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to welcome parents, friends, family, and most importantly, the winter class of 2014. It is hard to believe that we are currently sitting at our college graduation. I am still in awe at how fast this time has flown by, and I want to ask you all today, do you think we are ready? Once we leave this auditorium, we will officially enter the real world. In the real world, we are supposed to become adults who have our lives figured out. We are no longer supposed to rely on our parents for laundry, a home-cooked meal, or the beloved $20 bill they hand us before we go back to school. Today, we are graduating from Westchester University with a degree that we have worked towards for maybe 4 or 5 and possibly even 6 years for some of us. We will leave this auditorium with a piece of paper that will say we are officially college-educated adults. Are we ready to take that next step? When I was starting my journey here at Westchester University, my parents helped me move into my dorm in Brandywine Hall on move-in day, just like every other freshman. I was nervous, excited, and terrified all rolled up into one. My mom turned around to me and excitedly said, "Are you ready?" I immediately said yes, as I had butterflies flying around in my stomach. From eating my first meal in Lawrence Dining Hall, to pulling my first all-nighter in the Harvey Green Library, and to the first of many times that I woke up to the horror that I had slept through my 8 a.m. class, it was clear to me then, during my freshman year, that Westchester University was the place I was meant to be. Looking back on my time at WCU, I'm going to steal a line from one of my personal favorite movies, Dirty Dancing, and say, I've had the time of my life. Fast forward 3 years, Westchester has left me with unforgettable memories, lifelong friendships, and a bachelor's degree in communication studies, which has led me here to stand before you all. But I soon found myself being asked the same question I did when I was 18 years old. I announced to my family and friends that I would be graduating early in December and was immediately asked if I was ready. I thought to myself, am I? Am I ready to have to say goodbye to the sweatpants and baseball hat look and trade it in for a suit and heels? Am I ready to say goodbye to habits that are only acceptable for college students to have? Habits such as having a diet consisting only of ramen, only buying boxed wine, and staying up most of the night for no clear reason? So I ask you the same question I've heard for countless years. Are you ready? Are we ready to enter the real world that we all thought would never actually happen? I propose that we all answer that question with a yes. Yes, we are ready for whatever life may throw at us. Whether we have a job lined up, we'll attend graduate school, we'll travel around Europe, or we'll simply go back home to figure it all out, I believe that with the tools Westchester University has provided us, we are indeed ready for our futures. Abraham Lincoln said, I will prepare, and someday my chance will come. Be ready for your first milestones as a college-educated adult, wherever and whatever they may be. Today, you'll be graduating from college. Be sure to celebrate this extraordinary achievement with your loved ones. Always remember that the tassel you are wearing is certainly worth the hassle. And when asked if you are ready, answer proudly with yes, I am indeed ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. I'm happy to announce that today's ceremony is being photographed by a professional photographer who will take pictures of graduates as they come up to the stage and as they receive their diploma covers. These photographs will be made available to graduates, families, and friends. So we ask you to refrain from taking personal pictures except from your seat. Now I call on Linda Lamworth, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, to present the degree candidates.
Will all baccalaureate candidates please rise? Okay, you know who you are now. Dr. Weisenstein, I am pleased to certify that the members of the class of 2014 have fulfilled all the requirements for the degrees which this university awards in their particular fields of study and are recommended to you by the faculty of Westchester University.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer upon you the baccalaureate degrees to which you are entitled. Now please be seated.
I now call on Dr. Timothy Blair, Dean of the College of Visual and Performing Arts, to present the candidates from the College of Visual and Performing Arts.
Dr. Weisenstein, I have the honor to present these recipients of the bachelor degrees in the College of Visual and Performing Arts. Recipients, please stand. Marshals, please escort the candidates forward to receive the symbolic presentation of their degrees.
Michelle C. Smith, cum laude. Ashley N. Vital. Layla K. Sabuni, cum laude.
Brandon Welsh.
Daniel J. Mulligan.
Michael J. Cipollini, cum laude.
Liness Spinelli, summa cum laude.
Rachel A. Jacoby.
Jennifer M. Hartz, summa cum laude.
Ashley E. Diefenderfer, cum laude.
Brenna T. Griffin.
Nicholas M. Lepkowski, magna cum laude.
Chelsea B. Wiley.
Alexandra Rose Lojeski.
Simone Simple.
Kayla Renee Crazley.
Joshua M. Collis.
Jessica Weinbrenner.
Beverly D. Azra, cum laude.
Lauren M. Casserly. Daniel C. McGrath, summa cum laude. Heather D. House, magna cum laude. Krista L. Sipes, summa cum laude. David M. Tabor, magna cum laude. Danton J. Arlotto, summa cum laude. Nikolai Gavlishin, summa cum laude.
Congratulations, and please be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Blair. I now call on Dr. Lori Vermeulen, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, to present the candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences.
Dr. Weisenstein, I have the honor to present these recipients of the bachelor degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Recipients, please stand. Marshals, please escort the candidates forward to receive the symbolic presentation of their degrees.
Sarah A. Alderman, cum laude.
Niall Scott McIlvain.
Maria C. DePaulo.
Casey W. Stewart, magna cum laude.
Dylan M. Longo.
Patrick J. Graham.
Jessica Henderson.
Danielle L. Reicheter.
Nicole C. Salvaggio.
Jacqueline C. Hackett.
Caroline L. Johnson, cum laude.
Carolyn E. Fielding, magna cum laude.
Madeline E. Ball.
Robert R. Anderson, cum laude.
William P. Lockhart.
Matthew M. Loretis.
Jamie A. Horton, cum laude.
Stephanie L. Smith.
Julianne Walsh, cum laude.
Emily A. Locker.
Sarah E. Harris, summa cum laude.
Stephanie N. Fabian, magna cum laude.
Peter B. Thomas Jr., cum laude.
Sakina Y. Brown.
Caitlin J. Nagy, summa cum laude.
James G. Lord, II, cum laude.
Kevin T. Beal, magna cum laude.
David P. Niemeyer.
Joseph J. Deegan III, cum laude.
Leela A. Cook, summa cum laude.
Nathan T. Noyes, cum laude.
Alyssa R. Basco, magna cum laude.
Devin M. Beneski, cum laude.
Taylor R. Schaefer, cum laude.
Mary E. Piazza, summa cum laude.
Christopher F. Coles, summa cum laude.
Patrick A. Leguto, magna cum laude.
Rachel S. Kruger.
Megan E. Higgins.
Alyssa Sternberg.
Jillian Murray.
Craig Rumbaugh.
Megan L. Kelly, magna cum laude.
Michael R. Delaney.
Rachel M. Proctor.
Jeffrey G. Lesko Jr., magna cum laude.
Jennifer N. Jones, cum laude.
Gabrielle A. Sharkey.
Mia S. Gay.
Shannon D. Simpson, summa cum laude.
Kara A. Purcell.
Celine S. Schlobach, summa cum laude.
Amelia F. Harper.
Alexandra Watt, cum laude.
Lindbergh Green Jr.
James D. Mattioli.
Cariana K. Miles.
Nicholas A. Bongard.
Michelle L. Keys, cum laude.
Nicholas M. Haas.
Sarah L. Falta, magna cum laude.
Jason C. Bramble.
Emily A. Bressinger, magna cum laude.
Kenneth H. Kaufman.
Esther N. Fruzzino.
Gianna M. Jorsenio.
Andrew P. Lingle.
Christina M. Dubenko, summa cum laude.
Benjamin J. Clancy, cum laude.
Jane E. Thompson, cum laude.
Kimberlyn N. Knapfel, cum laude.
Francis J. Reppert, magna cum laude.
Marissa V. Bloom, summa cum laude.
Meredith B. Bradfield, cum laude.
Brooke A. Riffert.
David J. McCormick, magna cum laude.
Bryce M. Williams.
Lauren E. Ardente, summa cum laude.
Christina L. Orlando, cum laude.
Molly E. Morels, cum laude.
Sarah J. Johnson.
Chase A. Barnes.
Ashley M. Pazicki.
Christina L. Pavia.
Sin Y. Nam.
Sarah E. Smith, cum laude.
Jessica E. Doherty.
Taylor R. Myers-Ackerman, summa cum laude.
Elise M. Bates.
Teresa Pierantozzi.
Lauren H. DeChico.
Corrine E. Parrish.
Kyle A. Frost, cum laude.
Ashley N. Kuva, cum laude.
Kevin P. Kelly.
Brooke A. Lombardi.
Ryan M. Gata, cum laude.
Amelia L. Buckley, cum laude.
Dimitri DePaul, summa cum laude.
Jacine Dernal.
Alexa Knoll.
Amy K. Pulsinkny, magna cum laude.
Laura T. DeNovis, cum laude.
Peter M. Bernosky.
Sean T. Kleins, cum laude.
Juliet A. Talaferro.
Helen Galistasos, cum laude.
Eileen M. Kenny.
Guadalupe J. Meza.
Lauren B. Grau.
Mariana B. McGrath.
Kenneth S. Hernandez, cum laude.
Rachel L. Wagner.
Nicholas M. Odermatt.
Alicia S. Moss, magna cum laude.
Nicholas C. Martin.
Keith C. Miller, magna cum laude.
Anthony B. Conoscenti.
Jared J. Nemeth.
Juan Joel Delgadillo, cum laude.
Edwin S. Kim.
Michael T. Blunt.
Roberta E. Yuba.
Mara K. Jones.
Masataka Mitsuzuka.
Angela K. Pollard.
Alexander L. Penman.
Alexander T. Fry.
Alicia M. Bell.
Hannah R. Broser, magna cum laude.
Abigail A. Gerondo.
Kelly R. Abraham, cum laude.
Lauren E. DiCandilo, cum laude.
Megan E. Williams.
Jake N. Fernandez, cum laude.
Corey L. Mandel, magna cum laude.
Jacob B. Ritzheimer.
Colleen Kelly, summa cum laude.
Christopher J. Wilwall.
Mary Ellen Masiris, cum laude.
Sydney O. Taylor.
Eric James.
Adriana V. Nicoline, cum laude.
Ryan L. Fox.
Laura N. Martin.
Nicole K. Rakowski.
Elizabeth A. Dagenbach.
Angelica J. Romans.
Anne E. Bush, magna cum laude.
Zachary W. Ray.
Molly J. Schwartz, magna cum laude.
Francesca N. Short.
Samantha Lieb.
Taylor L. Washington.
John M. Price Jr.
Ashley B. Newman, cum laude.
Linda R. Homer Hurley.
Mercedes J. Rouse.
Hannah G. Martino.
Stephen B. Bobo.
Kirsten R. Gunn, cum laude.
Dean M. Stremba, cum laude.
Alyssa Santa Croce.
Nicholas E. Sakowitz III.
William C. Zhang, summa cum laude.
Douglas P. Heisler, summa cum laude.
Brian M. Lutz.
Caitlin M. O'Hara.
Kara A. Miller.
Amanda Poth, magna cum laude.
Caitlin N. Watkins, magna cum laude.
Kimberly E. Waldo, magna cum laude.
William J. Gagliardi.
Heather M. Caudill.
Kelly A. Seedoff.
Taryn M. Carey.
Sarah M. Resenberger.
Gina P. Franco, cum laude.
Justine R. Hayden, magna cum laude.
Mark W. Ottenberg, magna cum laude.
Jeffrey F. Mallon, cum laude.
Ryan L. Gervin.
Allison M. Messangalo.
Eric M. Gendazik.
Clint C. Johnston.
Beatrice O'Hara, cum laude.
Natalie D. Siziak, magna cum laude.
Renee D. Greenwood Buxton.
Virginia L. Westwood.
Kevin A. Hester Bay, Jr.
Elizabeth J. Delaquilia, cum laude.
Jaleel F. Mack.
Alyssa K. Yanni, summa cum laude.
Alexandra V. McCausland.
Blanton L. Goal.
Amanda L. O'Donoghue.
Julia Robinson.
Timothy G. Obanya.
Brittany K. Davis.
Nathan P. Hagg.
Samantha A. Wonder.
Brian A. Trikel, cum laude.
China I. Feinfrock.
Kenneth A. Makaborski.
Brittany S. McDevitt.
Rachel A. Brown.
Catherine L. Gaverick, cum laude.
Thomas J. Ward, Jr.
Rachel A. Schuster.
Dana Lynn E. Treffs.
Catherine J. Smith.
Derek F. Herbine.
Joseph Woodbridge.
Mark Benton.
Victoria C. Smith.
Adam Alhiyari.
Kayla L. Mixel.
Jeffrey M. Holland.
Patricia Geyer, summa cum laude.
Julia G. Nafa.
Chris B. Landy.
Tyrone N. Hudgens.
Jacob L. Summers.
Gloria G. McCormick, magna cum laude.
Rachel A. Strickler, summa cum laude.
Alan D. Vincent, magna cum laude.
Joseph T. Woolcock, magna cum laude.
Stephen J. Sabatino, summa cum laude.
Assad M. Ali, magna cum laude.
Kayla B. Weinstein, summa cum laude.
Daniel P. Kinsey.
Ryan T. Fisher, summa cum laude.
Brianna J. Swartz.
David Taylor MacArthur, summa cum laude.
Brittany N. McCauley.
Jeffrey J. Holton.
Kyle J. Whelan.
Matthew F. O'Brien.
Matthew K. Rollins.
Richard E. Gibbons III.
Rochelle J. Harris.
Timothy A. Graver.
Julia T. Shank.
Jaquayar Pryor.
Kristen A. Schott, magna cum laude.
Katia de los Santos.
Allison A. Flynn.
Kayla A. Smith.
Heather A. Hanlon.
Mia A. Hextall.
Sarah E. Corbett.
Aisha Bell.
Amber L. Jostin.
Denisha A. Simmons.
Kayla K. Gatto, cum laude.
Dwanette A. Ross.
Catherine Leah Spragus.
Amira M. Warwick.
Shelby L. Kimport, summa cum laude.
Victoria Williams.
Adrian N. Leiden, magna cum laude.
Joseph A. Olmsted.
Gwendolyn J. Dickerson.
Shanae M. Williams.
Jasenia Hinkle.
Megan E. Seebeck.
Tiara M. Epps McFadden.
Brian M. Tolton.
Janet L. Secchi.
Kyle P. Costello.
Megan B. Westfall, cum laude.
Carmen S. Colosino, magna cum laude.
Odessa R. Flack.
Matthew D. Stippa.
Kira Detsy.
Mary Kate E. Keating, cum laude.
Tamara T. Lehman, cum laude.
Mara K. McCormick.
Ashley E. Rankine.
Jessica L. Fritsch, magna cum laude.
Jasmine C. Wright.
Cassandra J. DeBroisi.
Patrick L. Robinson Jr.
Rachel K. Campos.
Robin E. Washington.
Mary Kate Moras, magna cum laude.
Alex J. D'Angeli.
Danielle M. Hinton.
Scott Olmsted, summa cum laude.
Daryl L. Carter.
Jonathan C. Hall.
Shatira M. Harrison.
Edward Thomas McEwen.
Kimberly A. Table.
Mark Palladino.
Nolan R. Montague.
Kristen N. Kohler. Brittany L. Simone. Allison Devenny. Israel Barrios. David S. Andros. Calvin J. Cooper. Andrea C. Ambrose. Kendra L. McMillan. Faith A. Robinson. Shanice Ellis. Shafara C. Self. Kevin A. Desser.
Congratulations, graduates. You did it.
Please be seated. I now introduce to you John Carroll, President, Westchester University Student Government Association.
Baccalaureate degree recipients, please stand. In symbolic recognition of the receipt of your academic degree, I ask you now to transfer the tassel from the right side to the left side of your cap. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Thank you, John. It's now my pleasure to introduce the President of the Alumni Association, Mr. Rick Lockery, graduate of the class of 2006 and 2010, who will present greetings from the Alumni Association. Rick.
On behalf of 90,000 fellow alumni, congratulations and welcome to the club. I want to say one thing. We want you to come back here. Every May, we want you to come back and stay connected at Alumni Weekend. We want to see you every October at Homecoming. Remember one thing, you are a Ram for life. Your fellow alumni and I are very proud of you and very excited for the future that awaits you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rick. Today we've honored our graduates. I know that every member of this class has enjoyed support from some very special people in your lives. Now I would like to offer the graduates a moment to express their appreciation to families and friends who have provided so much help along the way. Will the families of the graduates, mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, children, and loved ones, please rise so that you can receive the thanks you so richly deserve. Please be seated. Thus ends our winter commencement. As president of Westchester University of Pennsylvania, I wish to extend to all of our graduates and their families heartiest congratulations. Well done. Please rise and join in singing the first verse of your alma mater. The words are found on page 2 of your program. Miss Ashley Vitale, class of 2014, College of Visual and Performing Arts, will lead us. Now, at the conclusion of the alma mater, please remain standing until the procession has concluded.
Westchester